Pit Stop Podcast, episode 25, 5 traits that great e-commerce websites all have in common. Wanted to get some content out there. Wanted to talk about a little bit of some traits that great e-com websites all have in common, right?
Yeah, you got some big holidays coming up. So
big holidays. This is the time to really focus on the sites. Do what we can to increase obviously increase sales, right? But really starting up at the top, increasing the overall experience.
Right. Fine tune a couple of things. Make sure you're ready for all the demand coming up for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, the holidays. You got to make sure the foundation's, running smoothly. Kitchen sink is, good to go. And
yeah. Making the purchase process as simple as possible, right? Transparency in pricing, transparency in return policies, and shipping options, shipping policies.
If it's a secured payment option as well, putting that there, everything is transparent. Every consumer knows what they're getting into.
Yeah. And, just making the entire experience from the moment that they get on the website, right? Because if your website takes, more than 3 seconds to load, it's like, oh, man, I'm bouncing here. And you might not think that 3 seconds is that long of a time, but consumers, we live in an instant gratification world. When we want things, we want information now as quickly as possible. And especially in the parts and accessories industry, we've been saying for years, right? Like it's not like buying this amazing cardigan, right? Like, I looked high and low for this, took my time, 20 minutes looking for this thing, but,
it didn't show up on your doorstep, for like 2 weeks. You wouldn't be, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
It wouldn't be the end of the world. And especially when I'm trying to get my car back on the road, I need to get, the part ordered as quickly as possible and shipped to the house. It's all about that experience. And part of that experience is the overall UX and the design of the website, right? And
making sure your website's responsive, so consumers are shopping on Apple phones, on Samsung phones, on desktop, on iPads. Making sure that your website looks good in every resolution is very important. You guys look in the back end on analytics, you're going to see people are purchasing and showing up to your site, again, through desktop, tablet, iPhone, different, Firefox, Chrome. All these things are very important. And just to make sure that, these do look the same across resolution and screens.
Yeah, totally. Becoming a resource. You want to be the thought leader in your industry, and being able to offer that thought leadership, the credibility, having a real resource center on your website. Don't just throw up a website and be like, hey, here's all these parts, here's all these accessories, buy from us. Why would somebody want to buy from you? Right? Like offer that resource center, show them that you're credible, show them that, you have, 30, 50, 60, 100 years and, you've been in business, for an extended period of time, and you have credibility.
You're a certified dealership, all these things.
Yeah. Put that time into creating that resource center and that thought leadership, because people are going to feel more comfortable with purchasing, from you.
And don't just assume either, why do consumers need a VIN number? Why should they put a VIN number? Where can they find this VIN number? A lot of things that we might take for granted that, all right, well, they should know where this is or why it's important. Yeah. Don't assume that, be a resource. So at the end of the day, make it as easy as possible for these consumers to get what they're looking for and check out. That's the main goal. We want to make it as frictionless as possible. So don't just assume, consumers know this or that. Assume that they don't, and be that resource for them.
You're the expert, right? They're leaning on you. They don't know. Or they know a little bit, and so be that thought leader for them, but also be be accessible, right? And make it easy for consumers to have human interaction with you, and having that human interaction through multiple touch points. And also that human interaction should be very seamless and frictionless, and everything should be flowing, to the right department, right? And to the right people. So 5 things or 5 ways to create and have that accessibility. Phone number,
have your phone number on your homepage, have it in the footer. I mean, is as many places as possible, right? Because what's it going to hurt? Yeah, they pick up the phone, and I mean, it's a hot lead. At the end of the day, like, that's a good thing. If they're emailing or calling, that they're not bouncing off your website. They want to purchase. They're asking you for help.
They're asking you for help, and it's easier to close them when you're on the phone, when you can start to have that dialogue with them, and
especially in a competitive landscape where a lot of people just price shop.
Yeah.
You can get somebody on the horn, or you can get email communication, which is another. Make sure your email is on the homepage as well, easy to find. They're more apt to buy from you once they build that relationship with you, even if your price is a little bit higher. That's the great thing about making these human connections, is like, you can be more competitive. You don't have to just be the rock bottom price, because you can make that up with these interactions.
Yeah, absolutely. And chat.
Live chat.
Yep. Having live chat on your site. Social channels. Consumers, millennials are all over social. They're starting their search on social. They're looking at reviews on social, and they want to be able to have that frictionless process where they can just stay on social and communicate with you through social. And if they're on Twitter and hey, got a question about this, boom, it's there, and you're fielding that question, not the marketing assistant in some other office. It's coming directly to you, and so that it's a real omni-channel experience, right? And finally, text. Being able to have consumers, or let consumers have the ability to text you, and vice versa. Sometimes people just they don't want to get on the phone. They don't want to have that long, drawn out conversation. Maybe they're multitasking,
Maybe
right?
They're at work and they're ordering parts.
Yeah, they're at work, and it's just easier for them to text. Hey, I've got a question about this. Will this part fit my car? Boom, text them back. Boom. It makes things easier for you. It makes things easier for them, and that's just a great way to communicate with customers. And frankly, in my opinion, it's really often overlooked, and so something to really think about. And finally, we've said this a bunch of times too, is having a platform to solicit feedback, and a platform for reviews.
Right, because social proof is huge. Again, guys, it's people that land on your site, these consumers that land on your site, more often than not, they've never heard of you before, right? It's not like, again, Walmart or Target, they're spending millions of dollars in advertising. These consumers know who they are. You guys aren't, the brick and mortar down the street. Now you are, the backyard of the United States is your, stomping ground. And a lot of people don't know about you. So in order to lower that or gain trust, is having that social proof. So having ratings, whether it's Google, Facebook, there's Yelp.
Yeah, well, you might be the biggest Toyota dealer in your market, right? But in Michigan, nobody knows who you are.
Right. And on top of that, a lot of you guys aren't using your brand name in your e-com name, because you don't want locals buying from your website. So that's another reason why, even if they did know who you were, they're not going to know who your online business is, because you have a different name. So that trust is really important.
Totally.
Especially when they're buying expensive parts. If you're spending, again, and this is people's livelihood, right? So to build that trust is so important. If you're dropping, a few $100 or $1,000, like that's, and you want to know that it's legit, it's a secure checkout, that, the return policy is legit, that you guys, aren't sending aftermarket parts, they're really OEM parts. All these things, you want to build that trust.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, there's five great traits.
Get you guys geared up for that busy holiday season.
Busy holiday season. Implement it. If you got questions, give us a shout, right? And we can help you implement these things, and we can help you implement it, give you some more feedback, on what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and so on, and build from there. So, any last thoughts, buddy? No?
That's all I got.
Let's get after it. Episode 25. Boom.